If you're enjoying this podcast from us here at Which, then why not become a Which member? Right now, we've got a special offer, especially for podcast listeners, meaning you can choose any of our 3 membership tiers for 50% off the usual price. Starting at just £39.50 for a full year, you can get Which magazine delivered direct to your door. For the same price, you could also choose a digital Which subscription, giving you access to all of our product reviews, the Which app, and the digital edition of Which magazine. What's more, you'll also be able to use the Ask Which service for personalised one-to-one buying advice. Or why not get a full access Which subscription for just £49.50 for a full year? Don't forget, that's 50% off the usual price. To join Which or to find out more, just head to which.co.uk/podcast offer. That's which.co.uk/podcast offer, or click the link in the description for today's podcast for 50% off a Which annual subscription.
They're in our chopping boards, water bottles, and even our humble tea bags. But is there any way to escape microplastics? Hello and welcome to Which Shorts, the podcast that gives you a sneak peek for free every single week into one of our magazines. Now, on this episode, I'm going to give you an insight into microplastics, thanks to Olivia House's piece from the September issue of Which magazine. Now, microplastics might seem insignificant. After all, some of them are so small they can't even be seen by the human eye. But they are found in our food, our water supply, and even in the air we breathe. So, should we be worried about them? Well, here's Olivia's piece, adapted for the podcast, this week read by me, James Rowe. The North and South Pole. The deepest point on the ocean floor. Some of the most remote places on planet Earth, and yet microplastics, created by humans, have been found there. It's estimated that each year, up to 40 million tonnes of microplastics leak into the environment globally, and this is expected to double by 2040. There's no escaping them, but what impact are they having on you and me? Well, there is strong evidence that microplastics cause significant environmental harm, but the evidence for their impact on human health is less established. Lab studies do suggest that they can cause oxidative stress, an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants in the body, which can lead to cellular and tissue damage, disruption to the gut microbiome, and immune or inflammatory responses. Despite much of the human health evidence only beginning to emerge, many scientists agree that we should be avoiding or reducing our microplastics exposure where we can. Sure, it's impossible to fully avoid the microplastics around us, but there are some simple, worthwhile changes you can make to reduce your own exposure to things we know release high levels of microplastics. In the kitchen, for example, ditch the plastic chopping board for a wooden one. Use stainless steel pans instead of non-stick ones. Opt for glass containers instead of plastic ones. Swap your tea bags out for loose leaf tea. Get rid of plastic water bottles and instead fill up a reusable stainless steel one with tap water. Faye Casero is a professor of environmental pollution at the University of Portsmouth. They lead the university's microplastics research group and says there is enough evidence right now to conclude that microplastics are likely to do harm. The group expects that in a few years, some of the studies currently underway are likely to show far stronger evidence. Much of the toxicological research today has been carried out on mice and fish, and, as with all research of this nature, results can't be directly extrapolated to assume similar effects on humans. But the studies do show that microplastics exposure may lead to problems such as cellular and tissue damage, disruption of the gut microbiome, and immune or inflammatory responses. Dr. Stephanie Wright is an associate professor at the School of Public Health at Imperial College London. They say that based on current evidence, we don't know enough about our exposure to really understand the risk. We already know smaller microplastics can cause toxicity, but studies have tended to show that this happens at a high concentration. We know far less about what happens because of long-term, low-level exposure. We also don't know about where the particles end up in the body, nor how, or indeed whether, they accumulate over time. Because of this, there's enough uncertainty that we should exercise caution with our exposure. Let's go back to the kitchen. I mentioned earlier that you could ditch the plastic food containers and use glass ones instead. This is something that Professor Casero told us. It's because heat causes microplastics and additives to leach into your food or drinks. This is the case even if the plastic is deemed microwave safe. Freezing plastic, Ziploc style bags or Tupperware for example, also isn't a good idea. It can make the plastic more brittle, which can lead to more particle shedding. Opt for Pyrex instead. Tea bags often contain plastic used as a sealant. The addition of boiling water and daily use results in a low but steady dose of microplastics for tea drinkers. Even those that contain PLA, a biodegradable plant-based plastic that is environmentally preferable, may still have impacts on human health. Loose leaf tea is a better option, as are using products from brands that sell truly plastic-free tea bags. There are a few out there. If you're drinking your hot drinks on the go, be wary that disposable coffee cups often have a plastic layer that can leach into the liquid inside. Choosing a reusable metal cup prevents this. Non-stick pans can contain plastic coatings. To avoid these, use stainless steel ones instead. Plastic cooking utensils, particularly worn ones, can be a source of shedding too. And plastic chopping boards can lead to tiny pieces of plastic getting into your food through everyday use. Studies have found that microplastic concentrations are higher in bottled water than in tap water. This includes plastic bottles, where fragments are known to break down into the water, particularly when the material warms up. But it also includes glass bottles, where it's thought that abrasion from the plastic coatings on the screw caps causes deposits in the water. However, a study last year found that while overall particle numbers between bottled water and tap water were similar, it was the size of the particles that was notable. The bottled water had significantly smaller particles, which, with our current understanding of toxicity, could be more concerning, so it seems it's best to drink tap water. You could even use a water filter to further remove microplastics from your drinking water. But it's not just the kitchen where you should be aware. Wearing natural fibres such as cotton rather than synthetic textiles will reduce the amount of microplastics released into the water supply and the air we breathe. But textiles from natural fibres also shed and may be treated with additives. A citizen science study looking at the prevalence of microfibres in the home found that bedrooms had the highest deposition rates, followed by bathrooms. One of the study's scientists, Dr. Ben Williams, recommends ventilating your home regularly to reduce overall levels. For your laundry, try using liquid detergent when washing synthetic clothing, as it's less abrasive and thus causes less microfibre breakdown. And wherever possible, line dry your clothes rather than tumble drying them. Generally, it's helpful to frequently dust, clean and ventilate your entire home. Choosing natural fibre carpets will reduce your exposure to microplastics, although they do still shed some fibres. And finally, in the garden, making rather than buying compost can lessen the microplastics entering the soil. That brings to an end another podcast from Which. There's loads more for you to read about everything we discussed today. Just head to the episode description for more useful everyday advice. There you'll also find an exclusive offer for podcast listeners like you to become a Which member for 50% off the usual price, giving you access to our product reviews, our app, one-to-one personalised buying advice and every issue of Which magazine across the year. Plus, your membership helps us to make life simpler, fairer and safer for everyone. If you'd like to know when we release a new episode, then make sure you press subscribe wherever you're listening. That way you can be one of the first to listen. And for any questions, comments or anything in between, follow us on social media at WhitchUK or email us podcasts@which.co.uk. Goodbye.
Do you want to reduce your energy bills? Or maybe you want to use greener energy. Go solar and get a discount. Right now, Which members can get a 7.5% discount on solar panels and their installation if you use Heatable, a Which Trusted Trader approved service. You can also include a storage battery and EV charger, handy if you're looking at making the switch to an electric car. To make use of this exclusive offer, simply head to which.co.uk/solar-offer That's which.co.uk/solar-offer before the 30th of September 2025. And if you're not already a Which member, you can grab a year's membership for 50% off the usual price. To do that, go to which.co.uk/podcast offer to get involved. Start your solar journey today. Go solar and get a discount with Which.